Dragon Ball Fusion World pits you and your leader against other players to see which one can be the first to take out all 8 of each other's lives. How you do so varies from strategy to strategy, and one of the key decisions you'll have to make is what color you should play. Each color has a different playstyle and will lean on different mechanics of the game. Naturally, if you have a favorite character and absolutely want to play that deck, by all means, just pick that character's color. You guys already know I'm a Gohan main from day one. But if you want to know more about how your favorite character will play or can figure out what color strategy is best for you, this video is for you. Currently, the game has 4 colors: red, blue, green, and yellow. A lot of hints point that there will be a eventual 5th color, which is likely going to be black. But at this point in time, we won't know when it releases, and it won't be in the first 2 sets of the game. It's likely to be a graveyard-based strategy, or drop as it's referred to in DBS, but we'll revisit the breakdown when we have more info. As of the release of this video, the game has 12 leaders, breaking off into 3 for each color. Red has 2 Gokus and Espira. Blue has Vegeta, Trunks, and Goku Black. Green has OG Broly, Android 17 and 18, and Teen Gohan. And finally, yellow is led by Frieza, Cooler, and Captain Ginyu. Dragon Ball sets are designed with archetypes in mind, and as such, if you're a fan of any of those characters or arcs, expect their support cards to also be in the main set of their color. For now though, let's break down every color individually. Red is an incredibly proactive color that aims to attack your opponent often and control the board via manipulating battle power. Utilize cards such as 4-drop Gohan to power down your opponent's battle cards, which in this game, if your opponent's battle cards reach 0 power, they are removed from the board. Additionally, he can attack your opponent with critical, a skill that prevents your opponent from adding their life to their hand if they take damage. Gohan is a great example of what Red as a whole is trying to execute as a strategy, and components of its effects can be seen across many cards. In terms of similar board control abilities, use cards such as Mafuba, which negs by 15k, Time Skip, which adds up to 35k power and KOs, or another Gohan that board wipes. I don't mind the Gohan supremacy. If you need more aggression, you can find just that with the amazing critical attack lineup of Vegeta and Beerus, both of which gain a 5k stat boost if you utilize either of the 2 Goku leads. Your defenses will also be tied to battle power with cards such as Frost that prevent your opponent from attacking with any battle card with 20k power or less. With that context, let's take a look at the leaders again to see how they are supporting the strategies. We can talk about both Gokus together since they're so similar. There are 2 types of front sides for leaders currently in the game: draw leaders and crit leaders. The Gokus fall into the first category. On attack, they draw a card, and once at 4 life or less, you may draw a card to awaken and flip them to their backside. The backside is where you'll find that your leader has gained a stat boost and new abilities. Both Gokus now have a base 20k power. They retain their ability to draw a card on attack, but now gain the ability to buff up their cards. Starter deck Super Saiyan Goku can give one of his battle cards plus 5k for that battle once per turn, meaning you can give a boost to one of your attacking cards, and on your opponent's turn, help defend with another 5k boost to one battle, which is a handy flexibility. If you're all about aggro, however, the main set Super Saiyan Blue Goku will give all of your Universe 7 cards an additional 5k power during that turn. Very similar to a certain other leader from another Bandai card game. Be mindful though that this Goku skill only works with Universe 7 specifically, so while you can include other traits in your deck, they won't get the stat boost. Beerus takes on more of the control aspect of Red. Whereas the Gokus were draw type leaders, Beerus is a crit type leader. As the name suggests, he has critical on his front side, the balance being that he does not draw a card on attack. He does get a nice 5k power, however, to help apply pressure and compensate from the lack of card advantage. On Awaken, Beerus loses critical but gains the ability to draw on swing with an additional effect that allows him to minus a card for 10k once per main phase. This skill positions Beerus really well into controlling the board by forcing your opponent to sacrifice more combo from their hand if they want to keep their battle cards on the field. And again, a power of 0 means a bye-bye to the battle card, so no pesky little blockers to get in your way. And especially don't let those blockers get in the way of hitting that subscribe button. Always appreciate and helps out the channel. Shifting over to blue, this color plays out similar to red in that it is a tempo-oriented color, doing so by utilizing cards in hand often and looping over their usage, be it grabbing them from the drop or getting additional draws. Sticking to the Gohan theme, we can see this 2-drop adult Gohan as an example of balancing hand advantage to gain perks such as stat boosts. I swear there are tons of non-Gohan cards in this game. I just have a problem. Lots of blue cards have the condition of having 7 or less cards in hand for an additional perk, and in Gohan's case, that's gaining an additional 15k power, turning him into a massive 35k attacker for only 2 energy. The trade-off for not having crit bodies in blue's case is that you attack with bigger bodies, making it harder for your opponent to defend. If you're concerned with having a low hand size, worry not, because cards like SS Gotenks exist to replenish your resources, meaning you can consistently flow cards to keep your advantage and engine going, especially when cards like Galagun exist to stave off your opponent and replace itself with another card draw. Blue is helmed by Vegeta, Future Trunks, and Goku Black, the former two being draw types and Goku Black being a crit type. Blue is probably the most diverse in how leaders play out, so let's take a look at each individually. Vegeta is the starter deck leader and doubles down on the conditionals component of blue. As a throwback to the blue Gohan we saw prior, Vegeta's Awakened side has an activate main that if you have 7 or less cards in hand, he gets a huge 15k power boost for the turn. Now, this is only an offensive boost, but really leans into the proactive nature of blue. Looking towards his son, Trunks has an incredibly flexible skill that allows him to bounce a 3-cost battle card back to the hand on his turn. That utility is not only fantastic for clearing out your opponent's battle cards, but also because it opens up a ton of combo lines by replaying your own cards or protecting your own cards after attacking with them. As for our villain representative, we have Goku Black. This leader has a heavy archetype focus, straying away from the more generic options the prior two leaders offered. By sending a Zamasu from the board to the bottom of the deck, the next Goku Black that you play will have its cost reduced by 2, thus trading away hand advantage for tempo advantage, and also making this the third blue strategy that can play a 30k or bigger for 2 energy. Those of you who have previously played Masters may be asking yourselves, where's all the energy manipulation blue was known for? Fusion World actually shifts that component of the color's identity over to our next 2 colors, which brings us over to green. This color has had the largest change to its identity coming over from Masters. Having previously been the hand destruction color, it is now the ramp color, which, to be honest, does make more sense in the larger landscape of TCGs. Sorry, blue. Utilize cards such as Destructive Strength to ramp into large bodies such as Turtles, a phenomenal 30k critical attacker who also ramps, helping you get to insane top ends such as this 8-drop Broly with a massive 40k power stat line. Where green may struggle with the early game tempo, it picks up the slack with phenomenal comeback cards such as 6-drop Teen Gohan. Look, I can't help myself. That gains you an additional life, and then do it again with this Android 16 blocker that will bring Gohan back for another life. Looking at the leaders, we have OG Broly, Teen Gohan, and Android 17 and 18. All of these leaders have ramp payoffs, they'll play with different aspects of having a lot of energy. Looking at our starter deck leader, Broly changes up the formula by ramping a card from his life on Awaken, effectively turning him into a 3-life Awakened leader. The trade-off being that he's the only leader to have a base 25k stat line, meaning your opponent will have to dish out additional resources to deal damage. He also utilizes self-energy destruction as a way to fuel more card draw and get in for additional damage. Shifting over to, and I promise this is the last time, Teen Gohan. Standard draw type abilities on the front, and on the back it's much of the same. However, he now gains the ability to destroy one of his own energy to gain 15k for the battle. The flexibility of this can be used both on offense and defense give this leader a ton of utility. Before shifting over to the androids, a common theme we see with the Saiyan leaders is the destruction of their own energy, which may come across as anti-synergy to what the decks are trying to do, which is ramp into big beefy bodies. Thankfully, green has access to this 5-drop Goku, which not only ramps you a card, but every time you destroy one of your own energy, you can go ahead and retrieve a card to place back from the drop, essentially making those destructions free. Finally, we have Android 17, a draw type leader that awakens into Android 17 and 18 on the backside. Whereas the other 2 leaders feature utility in their stat boosts, androids are all offense power with the permanent that once you get to 6 energy, they attack for 30k, rivaling even blue Vegeta for massive offensive stat lines. Use cards like Dr. Dro's Lab to get to 6 energy on time. Whereas survival into the late game is the end goal for green, yellow can casually walk itself into that phase of the game, being the pinnacle stall control color. Cards such as Death Ball will force opponents' battle cards into rest mode, taking them out of commission for the turn. Then use powerful cards such as Golden Frieza to not only close out the game, but assure your opponent's cards stay out of your way for additional turns. When it comes to strategy, card mode is the name of the game for yellow. Thus, a lot of its removal package is also tied to whether an opponent's battle cards are active or not. Golden Death Beam, for example, will remove 3 drops or less, but only if they are in rest mode. The debut of Yellow in Fusion World features a very villain-heavy lineup, though we are for certain going to see Z Fighters represented in the color in the near future. Frieza, Ginyu, and Cooler are the leaders for this board control heavy color, all featuring some of the more interesting play patterns available in the game. Frieza is a draw type leader that gains the ability to restand 2 battle cards at the end of the turn. This proves to be incredibly powerful as it not only allows you to attack with cards that have blocker, which can then protect you on the crackback, but also prevents your opponent from being able to attack into your board, forcing them to face you head on. As is expected of Captain Ginyu, his role as the leader of the Ginyu Force is shown through his leader card and archetype support. Note that his Awaken actually restands one of your energy instead of drawing you a card, which plays really well into his flood the board based strategy. On Awaken's side, Ginyu threatens to OTK via his powerful once per turn. By paying 3 energy and discarding 2 cards, you get to switch all of your Ginyu Force battle cards back to active mode, going in for a huge finisher. Straying away from Frieza Force and into the Frieza clan, Cooler is the final leader we'll be looking at today. This crit type leader presents a ton of flexibility in his Awakened side, having a once per turn ability that will allow the restand of either an energy or a Frieza clan card, opening up for more options in play. Because this is an activate main slash battle, this is a line that's also available on the opponent's turn as well. Yellow has always had energy manipulation as part of its tertiary identity mechanics, and if you're a blue player looking for that kick, Cooler may just be your choice. Each color in Fusion World will have its own unique way of dealing with any given situation. For example, when we look at removal, red will go ahead and minus down a card's power, blue will bounce cards back from hand or to the bottom of the deck, green will just outright KO a card, and then yellow will freeze the card on board. That core philosophy is seen across the game, from the different ways the colors draw cards to the way that they close out the game. I will say again, if your favorite character is not represented in the color that speaks the most to you, that's okay. You can either play them until they will probably inevitably end up in that color at some point down the road. As they're making this video, we actually haven't even seen all the cards. They haven't all been revealed yet, but I will definitely be doing a breakdown of every single card. So again, if you guys want to be around for that, sub buttons down below, and let me know in the comments which strategy and which color you guys are looking to pick up on the release of the game. Ciao.